Welcome to Lunch Break with Ekow Mensah. This is I think, the sixth edition or the fifth, I'm not too sure. But welcome to Lunch Break. This is Saturday. I don't know how your day has been, but I hope you would find time to rest. Saturday is self-care on Lunch Break with Ekow Mensah. And earlier today, I wrote about 4 health areas in your life that you need to pay attention to. And that's your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and your financial health. And I hope you would make time to read it. I posted it on my timeline. But this afternoon, we are looking at a very critical topic, which is becoming more and more profound, especially in the times that we are in. So the topic today is, what do you do when you feel alone and unhappy? What do you do when you feel alone and unhappy? And I'll try to be as brief as possible, but it is something that I am, very passionate about. A lot of people are going through so much, and sometimes they just maintain a smile and maintain a composure. And a lot of people don't know they are going through so much. And sometimes we hear of suicide, we hear people are trying to cause harm to themselves, we hear, of death, and we're not sure what happened to the person, because just recently they were posting on Facebook, just recently they were, shooting a video on Instagram, and suddenly they are just no more. The world is becoming so small and so nuclear in such a way that, especially after COVID, when everything has become virtual and, we can literally sit at one place and get everything done, a lot of the times it tends to be quite difficult, to connect with people. So a lot of us go through moments of being alone or moments of being lonely. And sometimes in those moments, we feel very unhappy as well. So what happens then when these moments tend to be perpetual, or these moments tend to be repetitive? These moments tend to happen more often than not, okay? So then what do you do when you feel alone and unhappy? And today, that's what we are going to discuss. It would be nice to hear your thoughts about it in the comment box. Tell us what you've done when you ever felt alone and when you ever felt unhappy. What were some of the things that you did to be able to get out of it? And let me point here that it's okay, sometimes to feel alone, sometimes to feel lonely. There's nothing wrong with it. Sometimes you need to actually get into a moment of solitude, either to connect with yourself, connect with the, divinity, your God, or something. But it's not something that, it's entirely bad. But when it becomes continuous, when it becomes an emotional challenge where you feel really alone and unhappy, that's when it has to be something that we need to take a critical look at. Okay, so I'm going to give you about 5 tips on what to do when you feel alone and unhappy, and when this becomes repetitive and perpetual. All right, so there's a universal principle, all right, and that is give and you shall receive. So the first thing I'll share with you when you're going through moments of loneliness and unhappiness is just start giving of yourself to other people who may need your energy, who may need your personality, who may need the things that you do, either for business, for service, or something. Just get yourself connected to other people. Start building relationships and connecting with people, because the whole point of feeling lonely is that you are very separated from people. Sometimes you generally do not want to talk to people. Sometimes you generally do not want to connect with people, and that's okay. But when you consistently are having this sense of loneliness or feeling alone and unhappy, try and harness this universal principle of giving and receiving. And that's when you connect with other people, talk to other people, especially when you're on Facebook. Just check on people's timelines and converse with them, because what you're feeling, other people are feeling. And the more you give it, the more you get in return what would help you get out of what you're feeling. So get out there, connect with a lot more people, talk to people, get involved and interested in people's lives. All right. If maybe some of the things you love to do is charity, go visit an orphanage, talk to them. If maybe you like encouraging people, but you are experiencing moments of alone or unhappiness, just get out there, go to the hospitals, go to the orphanages, go to the streets, go to the schools, go to churches, go somewhere that you can connect with people and, give of yourself to them. You'll be shocked. Sometimes when you get into certain areas, you see how privileged you are and how unfair it is to feel that sense of loneliness and unhappiness, because you tend to see firsthand how privileged a person you are. Okay, so get out there and give of yourself, and then you shall also receive. If you need love, give love. If you need happiness, let your energy show forth happiness. And at the end of the day, I believe that if this principle works of giving and receiving, you shall definitely receive as well. The second thing is that know yourself, because sometimes being alone and unhappy is not as a result of occurrences. It's mainly because of maybe who you are, by your personality or by your nature or by your orientation. All right, when I was growing up, my father was always telling us to stay home so that we don't go and mess up people's stuff, and then it will bring him costs and all that. So we got used to always being at home and being with ourselves. Okay, so then when my siblings and everybody was going, we tend to see that, listen, you would be by yourself by default, and because that's how you've been oriented. Okay, so just have a look at, okay, what have you come out from that is resulting in how you're feeling? And then when you realize what you're coming out from or what you've experienced over the years, which has resulted in you being alone and unhappy, just start working towards changing the setting. And that is resulting to the first tip: getting out there and giving of yourself, talking to people, just being resourceful to other people. All right. So thank you, Karen. Thank you, Tisha. Thank you, Abigail, for joining me today. Yeah. So sometimes you realize that just by your temperament, by being an introvert, you are used to being by yourself, and that's okay. But sometimes you're also an extrovert, and when you don't have people that are always around you, that you literally like take their energy. Extroverts, they give off energy, but they take a lot of people's energy and to feel excited, and the way they always are. So then they always want to make sure that people are around them that would help them to be who they are. But introverts really do not, like people generally. So then when they start feeling a sense of loneliness and unhappiness, it's mostly because maybe they've been taken out of a setting that they were used to. Maybe they were in a family, maybe they were amongst friends and things like that. And now that it's not there anymore. So when you realize that that's the reason why you're feeling the way you're feeling, try and start picking yourself up again and building that setting, either connecting with people, connecting with your support system, or doing something that would help you, relive the moments that you used to. And it's still about, getting interested in people and then finding yourself around people. The third tip is that get closer to God. Get closer to God. That is, if you believe in God. Because, there is this peace that you feel, this contentment, this relaxed nature that you feel when you really do get close to God, because the Holy Spirit has a way of comforting you, because He's your comforter, you see. So He has a way of enveloping you in a way that makes you feel less alone and less unhappy. So get closer to God, build a relationship with God, get to know Him more, and then let Him be the one that you depend on, and through Him you are able to get out of your moments of unhappiness or loneliness. Okay, and the third one sometimes is to get a bit more money, because sometimes we prevent ourselves from going out and then experiencing life because we don't have money. So then harness your knowledge and your skills, and then give of yourself, give of value, and then in exchange you're going to get a lot more value in going out there and building experiences. Okay, so that is the fourth one. Try and get a lot more money, because when you tend to be broke, loneliness and unhappiness closely follows. Okay, so that's the fourth one. Try and make some more money, try and increase your income, and try and have set aside money for me time and for vacation time. A lot of us Black people don't know what, or Africans don't know what me time and vacation time is. And when we hear that people have set aside a certain amount of money and a certain time to enjoy themselves, to experience life to the fullest, to travel the world, we feel they are wasting money. But no, it's not a waste of money. It's part of mental health, it's part of self-care. So try and make some money, put some money aside, and just enjoy the good things that life has to offer. Just enjoy the good things that life has to offer. And the last thing I'll share with you is try and build some sort of self-reliance. Okay, build like be content with yourself. You know, some of us always want people around, and then when those people are not around, we tend to feel very unhappy and all that. Some of us are very dependent on other people, on your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your wife, your husband, you know, your siblings, your friends. So then when those people are not there anymore, we tend to start feeling alone and unhappy because we feed off other people's energies. All right, but the faith point is try and figure out a way of being complete in yourself. Try and rediscover yourself. Try and find hobbies that you love to do by yourself. Try and take yourself out on dates. Try and see how you can build some sense of independence and self-reliance, because people will not always be there for you. People are busy, people have things to do, people have responsibilities to take care of, so they can't always be there for you. So try and see how you can be by yourself and prevent yourself from being unhappy by focusing on the things that you love to do, and then focusing on the things that by yourself you can find happiness in. Okay, but if you really do realize, especially when you fall on the extrovert side of, you know, temperament and personality, it's hard to really continuously find happiness in yourself. I like to talk, I like people, but I like being alone. I like being in my comfort zone as well. I like being in my own space. You know, so I don't like going for events that I'm not really doing anything there. I don't like, you know, and people find that very surprising. I love people. I love to be amongst people, but I love to also be by myself. And I love to just spend time on the things that I love, maybe ideas, maybe starting a business, maybe helping someone their business. And through that, I tend to also find happiness. So try and build some sense of self-reliance and independence. And it's really, really going to help you. All right. So thank you, Mickey, Selom, Abena, Kweku, Pel, and everybody that made time to be here. These are my 5 points on what to do when you feel alone and unhappy. By the end of the day, the universal principle is true. When you give, you shall receive. So if you want happiness, give happiness. When you don't want to be alone, help people not to be alone. Be available for people, but make sure you don't avail yourself too much so that you tend to be abused. So that's what I have for you. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. And if you have any other points on what to do when you feel alone and unhappy, please put it in the comment box, because at the end of the day, we all want to help each other grow and be better and do better. So have an amazing Saturday. Thank you and God bless you. Bye-bye.